accident on the road. Took me like 2 hours to get home. Or not even home. I'm 2 hours just to get to the haircut place.
I like how he calls it a haircut place and he doesn't want to refer to it as a man's salon.
And I don't get my hair cut on base because they do a terrible job.
You pass up the free haircuts?
It's like calling a restaurant the food eat place.
The food eat place.
Yeah.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Tonight is episode 19, where we continue our conversation with Eric Corley Ehrlich, and we see the rest of his awesome collection. If you have a collection you'd like to be featured in a future episode, head on over to 5idiotstalkingtoys.com and leave us a note. If you're looking for some great vintage and modern toys, head on over to rogue5toys.com, where we'll sell you some great vintage and great modern toys. Anyway, thanks again for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get back into it with Eric Corley Ehrlich.
So I have to show you this because I show everybody this. So this is me. You can see. That's me in 1978 with my Death Star that I had just got and put together.
Now we know what you look like without the mustache.
That's that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Again, a lot of the one thing I can tell you about most of the toys, and again, I don't grade any of the box toys. They are in acrylics because to me, I always tell people if you had a really nice piece of art or a photo, you would get a frame for it. Why wouldn't you do the same for a box toy? You get a frame for it, right, to make it look nice. So to me, I think of it as that. They're all open, but to me, my kind of perfect scenario is a super mint box. And this is an example. I actually just... a super mint box, but that is open, but that I always hate opening these, but where the toy is mint in the box. So this was never assembled. And it's funny, I got it on eBay, and literally in the description, the guy wrote, I only opened it to make sure everything was
Oh my gosh.
Those are my favorite ones.
I've seen that before, and you just want to like jump through the screen. Like it stayed sealed for 35 years, but I opened it to make sure all your parts are there.
No, but I mean, that's the thing though, is I like it like that. I like to be able to open it and have that pull everything out just like it was brand new from the store. Even if some of the parts are like tied up in bags and I can't actually put it together, that's okay. Like to me,
I'm totally with you on that. I don't have anything sealed, and I don't really care to have anything sealed.
So this is my first 12. These are all from my, as a kid. There's an ICC or IC Toys Stormy. Yeah, like I said, these are just some troopers. I also like foreign language boxes, so I have quite a few of them that I have, like the Jabba's Palace. That's my Max Rebo from when I was a kid. I forgot I had that. That's my TIE Interceptor. And by the way, I heard someone say the other day, oh, you never find these where the stickers haven't buckled. And I beg to differ. I was that kid, right, that like sat there and like methodically put on the decals. Neither of these cardboard play sets were ever assembled or played with. And by the way, I always like to say this. So these, whether it's the tripod laser cannon or radar cannon, all those, those technically are not mini rigs. People call them mini rigs, but they're not. You know what they are?
What are they?
They are action figure accessories.
Oh. Makes sense.
I've heard somebody mention that before, that they're not in the line of mini rigs.
Yeah, actually, if you watch the Toys That Made Us on Netflix, I was watching it the other day, and even one of the guys who designed the mini rigs was talking about, and that's what he was referring to as all the vehicles. So I'm going to come down here. So I said I'm not much of a completionist. The only thing I ever did a full run of is the die cast. And I've been amazed at how many like pretty incredible bubbles and cards I've been able to find. Especially, I know the like the Slave One and the Land Speeder, finding those with clear bubbles. X-wing.
You mean Boba Fett's starship?
No, it has a slave feature. That's why it's. So these are weird. You guys have probably seen these Zetka, right?
Yeah.
They're really odd. There's only 3 of them that they made. So they made R2-D2, they made a TIE fighter, and they made an X-wing, and they're ridiculously expensive for the size and for what they are. I've been eyeing an X-wing on eBay. There's the TIE fighter. The X-wing is the hardest one to find. And then these are some Takara. They are pins. But I like a lot of this foreign language. I like what they did from a design perspective with a lot of the foreign language stuff. Like the Glasslight figures are really cool. The card backs on those. It's R2-D2.
Yeah, I love those card backs. That's the thing that stinks is I'm sure I'll never have one, but they are really, really cool looking. I would love to have it just for the design.
But like this treatment of Star Wars, I just love that. Like I don't know, there's something really cool. I have that giant 2-sheet in our dining room that you've probably seen as my background during my auctions.
How much did it cost to get that framed?
About $600. We had it framed with acrylic too, because the glass would be too heavy. It's the 2 Droid factories. It's funny, no one makes cases for the Droid factories. I'm going to have to go to like CGA. Ian doesn't make them because I reached out to him about it. But I'm usually not a version person, like having multiples of the same. But I don't know, there's something about... I didn't even have this as a kid. Maybe that's why I'm fascinated with it. But
isn't the box the same as the Jabba's dungeon? Same size?
Yeah. No. I think Jabba's dungeon is thinner.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I love the brilliance of the ESB box on the Droid factory there.
Well, the other thing too, and I was looking at this the other day, I feel like they just, I don't know, the cover of the regular Droid factory is kind of a hot mess. Like there's just all this shit like piled up in there, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's like and then over here, like they kind of organized it and telling a little more of a story here. So, like you see the Jawas faces versus here, they're like you just see these like what look like potato sacks sitting around. And then there's my. That's my Imperial shuttle from when I was a kid. This is my AT-AT. Here's a bit of trivia for you before I open that. Which mini rig was actually designed to go with the AT-AT?
INT4.
Very good. There it is in there. It should work.
Great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was telling somebody about that, and they didn't believe me. And I said, no, if you look on the box of the INT on the inside here, it shows it inside the AT-AT.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I never knew that. I was going to guess the little mini shuttle, the
ISP.
Yeah, the ISP. That was going to be my guess.
That's the Return of the Jedi thing.
So this is a teaser. I do have oddballs, as you all know. I'm an oddball lover. This was one of the first oddballs I ever got, which is So this, it took me a while to find out what this was, but it's a retail display cut out of R2, and obviously it just has this pocket. What I found out is it's not for these books, these record books. They just happen to fit in there nicely. But it was for the 45 record of the Star Wars theme.
Oh.
So you could just buy the main fanfare. I think there was an A side and a B side. And it sat on a counter, like at a record store back when they had record stores. So this is actually, I would say, probably of the newest stuff I've got was a complete, really nice Rebel Command Center. I don't know why that it's been so hard to find, but finding that box nice was really hard. But it didn't have the figures, and I really wanted to get all the baggy figures. So I finally got all three. I just found Luke Hoth at a toy show not too long ago. This is one of my husband doesn't venture off too often into buying me toys because he's never sure if he's going to get the right thing, but he did get me this Wampa for Christmas one year. And he was really good and got me the Imperial Troop Transport up there. This Imperial Cruiser is mint brand new, stickers not applied, cardboard, all that good stuff. This was one of my grails. I know it's a lot of people's grails, but is a Palitoy. It's complete. It was probably played with twice. I bought it from the guy who it belonged to. His name is Gareth, and I bought it on eBay. He's in the UK, and we talked back and forth for a couple of weeks about it. And I finally, we were kind of going back and forth on price. But anyways, and if you look really closely here, it says, to Gareth from Daddy and Mommy, written right there in the Star Wars. So he got it as a Christmas present as a kid, but so heavy, but it's in beautiful condition. Oh, that's the instructions I have in the envelope.
Very nice.
Not only the item, it's the story that's behind each one, especially if you know where it came from and the origin and the writing on there, that just adds to the story. Oh, absolutely. And it's an incredible piece, and it I think until you've sat in front of one of these put together, you don't really ever fully appreciate it, because you kind of compare it to the cardboard sets that Kenner did. And it is so far above and beyond that. The material they use, it's a really thick board. And the way it's engineered so that all these different decks, and it's quadrants all the way around. And what you don't see is on the other side, it's completely open, and it's the docking bay. And it's big enough to actually sit the front half of the Falcon in there. So to me, this Death Star gives you the opportunity to create so many more of the scenes. It has the the detention cell that Leia's in. It's got the cool hallways where you can stage stormtroopers walking down a hallway doing some things. I think because it's so compartmentalized versus when you think of the Death Star that Kenner did, it's let's be honest, it's someone's New York loft apartment, right? It's open, what is it? Open space living. So anyways.
An open floor plan or whatever.
All I know about that piece is that Charles has one, and he put it on a Lazy Susan in his closet, and he just sits in there and spins it and just stares at it for hours.
It's amazing.
I do have one. I don't have the box though. The box is super, super rare, and in that condition, really, really nice.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like I said, boxes are kind of my thing. So I was really and what's cool that this guy did is, because he obviously shipped it from the UK, and when I got it, it was wrapped obviously really well. But then when I unwrapped it, it was in a cardboard box, but then he went and bought a plastic tub that was just a little bit bigger, of one of those flat, like you put under the bed plastic storage tubs, and had it in that, rewrapped again to keep it from, being crushed or damaged. So,
Oh, that's really smart, because it probably didn't add that much weight, but that's probably a really smart way to send it overseas.
Yeah. So like I said, the only thing that I have a complete run of is the die cast. Obviously, I showed you all the carded ships, which again, I'll go back to the fact that they showed those action scenes on those cards, and also some of them actually use artwork, is what I really love about those. And then here are the 4 boxed. I have the Star Destroyer down here by the Star Destroyer.
So Eric, this is the first memory I have of you. Is I hadn't met you yet, but we were, I was sitting in the lobby at ICCC this past April, and all I know is everybody was hooting and hollering, and you were marching through the lobby, waving to the crowd like you were the mayor, with this TIE bomber strapped to your chest. And I just felt happy for you because you looked so excited that you got it, and everybody, I guess, who knows you was cheering you on. But that's the first memory I have of you, is with that piece right there.
Yeah, I never thought I would find one, honestly. Or I would find, let me take that back, that I would ever be able to have one just because of what they cost. This one's also graded. If you can see, it's a 75, which isn't terrible for a boxed die cast, but those boxes were so flimsy. I mean, such thin cardboard, just to find them. I really like the Y-wing, but again, this is an example. I don't have any of the large ships, like the Y-wing. I mean, I have a B-wing in the box, but one of the things I loved about the carded ships and the boxed ones is you get to see the vehicle, and but you get to keep it in the package. So I just like that kind of combination. So the story with these Stormtroopers is, I had got this one, who was an 80 plus, and it was just so nice and wide. And I knew I wanted to do a shelf with just a bunch of Stormies. And I know, like, some people have like just tons and tons, and any Stormy will do, and that's cool. But my OCD was, I started putting them up, and I'm like, wait a minute, when I put him next to that one, he looks really not very white. And so then what started happening was, I would buy Stormies, and unless they can kind of pass the test of standing next to all the others without looking like they're, off color, then this is how many I've been able to find, where they all kind of pass the test. So
is the one that you bought for me a couple weeks ago, is it up there?
I don't know. I have a couple. I have a box of stuff in the closet here that I haven't gone through yet. That, like most people, I open the door one day and there's like 8 boxes out there, and I'm like, did I buy something?
Sorry, John. Pass the test.
Yeah, I didn't pass the test.
Yeah, let me interpret for you, John. The answer is no. Your yellow Stormtrooper is in a urinal in a roadside bar down the street.
That guy was white. I mean, he was white.
This is a cool piece. I would give anything. I would sell this in a heartbeat if I could find a Harbert Stormtrooper. But I just love the graphics on this. This is a 75. This is the one where they changed a lot of the names on the back, which are kind of weird. Like C1P8 is, and then D3BO. Like, it's just really interesting, some of the different. Jan Solo instead of Han Solo, which sounds like that would be Han Solo's like mother, doesn't it? Jan Solo.
So we don't do a lot of this in the middle of somebody showing us their collection, but I mean, to me, that is such, no pun intended, that is such a foreign piece. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the toy company. Christopher, are you somebody I can ask? Like, what would something like that be worth? I mean, we don't have to do that with a lot of Eric's stuff, but that's really, really unique in the States, right?
Yeah. All of those pieces go for let's just say thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I don't have an exact value, but if I had to guess, I'd probably say 3,000.
It's in that realm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of what I paid. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I really love it. I saw there was some article I read online a while back of someone who had like a full set of 12 backs from Harbert, which is obviously, if you guys don't, it's the Italian license holder.
So now, what is the difference between Harbert and Meccano? Because Meccano was Italian as well, right? Was there a change at some point? Or do I have that wrong?
That they may have been the later license holder.
Okay. Yeah, because I know there was Return of the Jedi Meccano cards.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good. All I know is Harbert is Italian. They're an Italian brand. And that might be part of. Because there were a lot of companies that had like the license for like the first movie, and then like the license was given to somebody else, and so it's quite possible, which is also why these are so rare, is because they didn't have the license for very long. Also, his name is Lord Darth Veneer. Lord Darth. Of course, I gotta have a Sandcrawler. That's like mint in the box with all the inserts and everything, as is the playset. Actually, one of the craziest things, and I'm not going to say this too loud so my husband didn't hear me, the most expensive thing that I've ever bought for what it was the action figure box for the 4 figures to go in that were inside this box that says Cloud City Playset on it.
Yeah.
$200 for a little cardboard box.
Yeah, that's an expensive one to piece together.
Yeah. So there's my sealed 12-inch Stormy, the strangest playset ever made.
That is my favorite playset. I love that playset.
It's just, it doesn't.
It is.
I always joke like that they were sitting around a table brainstorming, and someone said, let's make a PlayStation or a playset all around Darth Vader's meditation. Like, but that was the concept. Like, way before meditation was cool, like someone was like, let's really focus on Darth Vader's spiritual condition.
Well, I never had that playset, but I never understood that gigantic gun off the front of it. Like, that doesn't make me think of, well, like, I mean, it's a Star Destroyer. I guess there's, guns somewhere on it. I don't know. It does really seem odd to me.
Yeah, there's not a lot of play value aside from creating that. I mean, obviously it's cool to create that moment where you lift this and see Vader in there, but like the really sad, like fly strip that comes down and like hanging people from their feet. Like, what is this? Like, I mean, it's like
the fly strip is supposed to be the Emperor.
I know, but it doesn't look I mean,
there's no
who knew that?
There's no likeness to the Emperor on there or anything.
Yeah. To me, that reminds me of the strip you would get where you can decode the thing on the back of the Transformers packages. Yeah. And it had like the red, and you put the strip over it, and you could see what's going on.
And this was the toy set most likely to break, taking it apart and putting it to all these little tabs. So I have a bunch of the rigs. I don't have when I've started filing them like this, I put some of them away. Cantina, Tauntaun. So that's I mean, I know it's not a lot, but that's kind of really most of my box toys.
Oh my gosh, that is so much more than I will ever own. So
well, and here's Shane, here's what I know you came to see. You ready?
Yeah, here's the big reveal that I'm here for.
This is the closet, because I don't have any room in the actual room.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there's the money. There's the money. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So, yeah. So here's where the party starts, right?
Of course.
Party, the birthday cards, the birthday invites, the candles, the name badges, the place cards, the plates, obviously. And this is one of those things again where you could collect them all, and I was starting to go down that path, and then I sold a bunch of them. Like, pick the ones you like. And you know, it's not about like having all the different versions of shoelaces, you know. Like I love the lenticular scissors, you know, that have the Imperial shuttle. I like, you know, some of the billfold was cool. And they're really hard to figure out how to display. And so, little tip, what I did is I went to the Container Store and bought these magnetic metal, you know, like bulletin boards, and you get the super magnets, these little tiny magnets that are like super, super strong. And so that's how I did that.
Oh, that's smart, because then you don't damage any of the packaging and they're held secure.
Yeah, they're really hard to display. Sorry, my allergies are acting up. But interesting. I talked a little bit earlier about the illustrated stuff. What I found out that was really interesting was when you start looking at Return of the Jedi, they started getting a system down and in place from a design perspective. In the era of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, they didn't really, like, they would let, like, so say, you know, what was this company? Drawing Board, right? Comes to Lucasfilm and says, we're going to write you a check to use the Star Wars IP, you know, intellectual property. And then they would go away and design their own thing. And Lucasfilm never had to improve it, which was at the time, you know, I mean, no one had ever done this level of merchandising. They later obviously figured out that they needed to, you know, tighten the reins, so to speak, which is why so much from Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back is kind of all over the place. I mean, when you think about
it really is. There's really no branding outside of the use of the logo. I mean, the logo is like the branding, and then everything wrapped around it is all over.
You know, like the Dixie boxes, and I mean, there's just so much. You know, of course, all the tins and everything. Everything is there's a lot more illustration and stuff. And then when you get into, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Some of the card backs on Return. Anyways, I don't know if you've seen
the like reflective stickers.
Yeah, they have like the reflective,
the prism in there. I have seen some of those. I don't know if I've seen all of those. Is there a Leia on that Jabba one? I don't think so, right?
There's a what?
Is there a Leia on the Jabba one?
There she is.
Oh, right there is. Yeah, I don't think I have that. I'll have to double check and see if I have that one.
Shane's pants has got a little tighter.
Ooh. Shane doesn't have that one.
Yeah, I anything that's got Leia Bosch on it, I get, but I don't know that I have that reflective one.
That's the only bear you will see displayed in my collection.
I know. I was just gonna say, hey, you guys notice he doesn't like Return of the Jedi, right? Got a whole entire room of Return of the Jedi.
Oh, my toys?
Well, no, the stuff that we're looking at. It's just funny.
Oh.
When you were saying earlier that you didn't really care about Return of the Jedi, I was kind of laughing in my head, because when it comes to the oddballs, that's where the bulk of it is. And I know that you collect all of that stuff. So,
yeah. Rubber stamps are kind of cool. There's a couple, they're hard to find on the card. But to your point, I like this. I don't know. Again, I think it goes back to just the design and creativity of thinking about how to use, you know, merchandise the property. Stuff like this, where the Falcon, the artwork where it looks like the fountain is blowing up Vader's head. Kind of funny. The night lights, things like that. The banks, and that's what I started doing was, like, I had all the banks, and I'm like, you don't need all the banks. Pick one as a representative example of that piece of merchandise. You don't have to have all the characters. It's like a watch, like one of the little pins. The tape dispenser. I wanted to come over here because I feel this is so sad, all crammed into a closet. But this is all the like school supplies. These are kind of cool. These punch and make 'em books. You like punch out it's like all die cut, and you punch it out and fold it together, and you can make stuff.
I have that one.
And they've never been used. So everything's in there. They're like matte. So that's the ESB one, and then there's the Return of the Jedi one. I thought this was funny. Where's that folder? There's a folder where Blue Snag appears.
Oh wow!
You've ever seen that?
That always really creepy looking.
Yeah. So it's an ESB folder. But
who is that other character?
I think they were characters that were in Cloud City. They looked like they would have been like denizens of Cloud City. I don't know. Movie viewer, alarm clock, record tote. It's kind of
I just got that record tote. I think that is so cool. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I just think it's a cool piece to put on the shelf.
So I think it's this one. May not be that one. One of these, I think it's this one, is trying to find it. One of these was mine as a kid. One of these spiral notebooks I still have. It's kind of cool.
I see your picture there. That I don't think I've ever seen that Empire picture. John has the A New Hope one. I have the Return of the Jedi one. I don't know that I've ever seen that one.
It's just, it's just like the bowl, and again, that's what I kind of started. I knew that was going to happen.
You better lock your door tonight, Eric. Shane might be paying you a visit.
I'm very excited. I love all this stuff.
But what I started doing was, and of course, I was like, all right, what the hell? I'll have a couple of Return of the Jedi. I wasn't even a fan of, I don't know. But I just decided to start having I'll have a couple of mugs, a couple of the glasses, a couple of the bowls, the plates. But I'm not going to do a setting for 8 people for dinner, Oh, I put this up here for you. I put her front and center for you.
Oh, nice.
Those are all the bookmarks. So these are, again, just all the tins. I mean, my favorite ones are the ones that were the West German ones with the illustrations. And I have so many. I think I have tins within tins because I don't have room for all of them. Yeah. So I've got more tins in the tins. That's very handy that they help you store more tins. But I like the little lunchbox one with the little handles. These are really cool. This is when I got on with John, I was telling him I just was bidding on eBay on someone selling 2 of these. So it's the space trunk, and these were made in London. But I'd always seen this one, and I've had several of these that I've upgraded and then sold the old one. But I just saw on eBay there's a second one, whereas this one features like IG-88 and the droids and FET and the Probot. There's another one that features Luke, Leia, Han, and Vader. And I just got it, so I didn't know that exists. The safes are really cool. I don't know if you've ever seen the safes. They were also made by a West German company. This one has never been used. It still has the instructions, and it still has the red tape sealing it so that it can't lock. But you basically pick a 2-digit code, and it's a bank. So there's a Yoda one and a Vader one. The tray in the background was mine as a kid. And I was very careful with it, and so it's like in mint condition. Oh, and there's a signed script from Force Awakens by J.J. Abrams. This is cool. these Sigma placemats. You've ever seen these?
I love the artwork on those.
Yeah, I love those too.
So this is, I've seen the placemats sell on eBay individually and as a set. I've never seen it with the box. So this is, and it's like very fragile now. So it's got this kind of clear plastic lid. You obviously have the base box. And then this is all four of the...
Yeah, I love those. I would have loved to have those as a kid. I mean, I didn't know about them until maybe a year ago or so.
They're so hard. This is the stuff, though, that it's like, I love it. It's so hard to display. Like, what do you do with it?
No, it gets to the point where you can just kind of enjoy it knowing that you have it, as weird as that sounds. And, you can rearrange your shelves every now and then and kind of like check it out and look at it. But no, you can't display all of this.
I was wrong. There's another bear. Oh. But these are just weird, these clip-alongs. Like, can you imagine being that kid that had this clipped to your belt? Like, it's my clip-along.
No, I never had that. I think Charles uses that now on the job.
Here's my box of stuff, new figures. I think that's it, John. Because these are all figures that I've just like bought. Because I bought a couple of Leias.
There it is. Let's see how white that dude is.
You're gonna have to bring him over to the others now.
Okay. Drum roll. Does he pass the test?
No, I know it's hard to see in the light. His legs are a little like off white.
Oh, boo! Bum, 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 bum.
So, I was going to show you. These are my figures from when I was a kid. Those are all they're all like individually bagged and but anyways, so that's really it. I mean, there's Sigma R2 frame.
You got some lunch boxes in there.
Yeah, personal hygiene. I actually got the 4-pack of the soap, which is nice. But this is kind of cool little sweepstake stuff. This is a cool little display. I actually got this from what's the guy's name who does Fourth Moon Toys? He sold me this little display that and I put all the
Mike
pins.
Freeman.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike
Freeman.
Yeah, Mike.
Carded pins and pointed pencils and ballpoint pens.
That's cool.
Hey, Eric, what's your favorite oddball item and your favorite non-oddball figure / vehicle?
Oh, this is cool with the R2 frame. That's actually the mailer box too. It's kind of cool. I can't believe they mailed those ceramic frames in a box like that. It's crazy. Favorite oddball. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, one of the oddballs that that we have actually in our living room is I don't know if it qualifies as an oddball, but it's the blueprints for the elevations for the Cantina set, signed by the guy who did them. So he gave me a copy of the original blueprints that they used for building the set.
Oh, wow.
And I have those framed. This is cool. And I forgot I pulled this out to show. So this is Wallpaper. A mint sheet of 8 feet of wallpaper from Star Wars. And then the illustration is really cool. I mean, obviously it repeats.
Oh wow.
I've never ever seen that before or heard about that before.
Yeah. So this is from 1978, I believe. But you can see like, and look at the likenesses like in the illustration. But it's really cool because they start off with like the Falcon and the fight, and then they have like the elevator shaft down the side. But it's, it's like that step and repeat, and then before you know it, like, oh wait, that scene, I've seen that scene, right? Because it's the kind of the way they collage it all together. But yeah, it's about a 6 foot.
You should frame.
Kind of cool.
Shane is so happy right now. Like, if the camera was on him, his smile is huge. There's saliva running down the side of his face.
Should we have some like waka chicka? We should have some like music in the background. Like,
I was saying to Christopher earlier, like when I saw his cabinets today, he sent me off on like a 1 hour waste of time looking at cabinets online. And when Eric put that wallpaper on the screen in one of his live sales a handful of months ago, he sent me off on like a good hour waste of time on eBay looking at old Star Wars wallpaper. You can buy rolls of it, you can actually still buy like sealed rolls of it. I don't know.
Really?
Unless you're going to do a strip on the wall or you're going to frame it or something, I don't know what else you would do with it, but it is really cool. I mean, it's the artwork on it, the way they collage it together, and it's kind of like seamless. These different scenes blend together. I think it's, as an artist, I really appreciated the artwork and the illustration of it. But
so you want to see the blueprints?
Yeah. Maybe if you don't have anything else, maybe let's wrap it up with that. If that's your favorite piece.
Yeah, I have to walk through the living room, so my husband's here, so I'm gonna annoy him for a minute. Hey, babe, I'm gonna. No, you're not gonna be on camera.
Oh, but he is.
So yeah, so that's our Canadian 2-sheeter. But so this is it, and it's a little hard. So let me. So basically, his name is Alan Roderick Jones. So he did 100 of them, but he did the original elevations for the cantina. So you can see here, this is kind of a side view, right, of all the drink dispensers and everything. And then you have the overhead of the bar here. So, but if you watch the credits and you watch for Alan Roderick Jones, you'll see his name on there. But the story behind that is I was doing a TV shoot in LA, and we were working with a set builder and a set designer, and we started working. He was an older guy, and you can see the people sitting at the bar there. We started talking, and of course, as it does, Star Wars came up. If you're ever around me, it usually does. And so he was like, well, yeah, I worked on the first one. And of course I about fell out of my chair. And he told me he was just like 18 years old and basically, was, just like a helper on the set. And he said, he was doing drafting and stuff. That's what he was studying in school. And they were doing all these sets and doing all of the elevations for production. And they threw the cantina at him because it was like a throwaway, like no one thought anything of it. Like, oh, it's like, here, go do the elevation for this bar, It'll be something simple and easy that you can do. And he kept one of the blueprints and he has it at home. And so we were there shooting with him for a couple of days. And at the end of the shoot, he came back and he had a copy rolled up and signed for me. So that's I don't know that I've ever seen that. So I guess when you think about oddballs and think about something that is unusual, that's probably the most, unusual thing that I have. So, and then aside from that, I would say the Palitoy Death Star is probably out of my collection. I didn't obviously have it as a kid, but I don't know. There's something about it that's just really, just the way it's designed and the way it's engineered. There's just something, and how it's all illustrated and the artwork. It's kind of magical when you have it out and sitting in front of you. So
yeah, it's a Death Star that is actually rounded a little bit too, you know.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, there's something about it being compartmentalized that actually feels more like the actual Death Star you saw in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, because there's like different spaces and different rooms versus it being this kind of one open space. And frankly, so much of the Death Star we got is dedicated, a whole top floor is just dedicated to, you know, a gun.
Right.
Which nothing really took place in a room with a cannon for the most part. I guess when they fired I guess that's what it's supposed to be, right? That's
when they fired on Alderaan.
Yeah, maybe that's what it's supposed to represent. So
I think we've all had that moment at some point in our collecting career, and probably most collectors have, where you have a lot of connection to certain pieces because you might have had them as a kid and there's a story behind it. But then as an adult collector, you run into a piece where you didn't necessarily have it, you didn't know much about it, you didn't really ever see it in person, but it strikes a chord for some reason and it becomes a favorite piece. Whether it's for the design aspect of it, or it's connected to a figure that you like, or there's just something really cool about it and you didn't know about it previously, and it just hits you the right way.
Well, it's funny, as you were saying that, what actually occurred to me and what was so kind of magical about getting that Palitoy Death Star. Every other toy that I have, for the most part, I've had the experience of opening the box and pulling the toy out. I've never had the experience, and it wasn't until I was, almost a 50-year-old man that I got to go back to the experience of truly not knowing what was in the box and pulling it out and actually having to read the instructions on how to put it together because I didn't know how it went together. And so to have that experience again, like I instantly bonded with that piece. So maybe
that's really cool. It's not as exciting of a piece, but I was telling these guys over the summer, I got, just one of the Rebel transports, and it's a ship. I was 4 years old when Jedi came out. So it's a ship that I just didn't have. It's an Empire box that I have. And, it's a common ship, but pulling that out of the box and just seeing the components of it and the playability of it, and this, you pull the tray out and there's a trap door below it. Just playing with that with my son for the half an hour that we did on the floor, pulling it out, and he was running and getting figures. It was so cool. I think it's such a cool toy with the different levels that it has, and it struck me as somebody in my 40s, what a cool Star Wars toy that is that I never got to see in person as a kid. So yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah. So it's fun. It's fun to collect. It's fun to see these things, share them with people in your life. Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it so much, Eric, to take us around and show all those great pieces that you have that you get to work around every day there in your office.
Yeah, well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it. So I guess you guys probably know as well as anybody, finding someone that wants to listen to you drone on and on about Star Wars toys is, it's always a welcomed treat. So
yeah, you make a good point. That's probably a tentpole reason for this show is that all of us on here have loved ones who no longer, maybe never did want to hear about our Star Wars thoughts, obsessions. So we get together and just talk about it with each other, and that's the fun part, right?
Absolutely.
I just knew when you shared those pictures on the IC of your collection, I knew we had to have you on because of how clean everything was and how displayed everything was. A lot of us, myself included, along with Charles, have our stuff like in closets or in drawers or not displayed because we just don't have the room for it. And that's like the number one thing that every collector complains about is not having enough room for their collectibles and just running out of room for buying any more. So we appreciate you taking the time to show us everything you have there. That's definitely displayed. It's probably the cleanest collection I've ever seen.
Oh, well, thank you.
Beautiful.
Appreciate it.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Except for that closet.
The closet is actually still pretty neat and tidy. So that's pretty cool, though.
Well, my hope one day is I'd love to get. I know I've seen people in their collections where they have like the retail store kind of countertop displays. They're glass. That way you can kind of sit stuff on top, but underneath have some shelves for oddballs and things like that. But it's on the wish list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a big part of the hobby is the organization and the dusting and the cleaning, and that's the organization can be fun, but keeping up with it all is tedious. So that's where I get stuck. The shelves that I have behind me are loaded with stuff, but it's just all shoved in there. I've got to do what Christopher's got going on behind him and get some glass and organize. All right. Well, thanks once again for joining us. This was a great time to see your collection and talk about the stuff that we all love to see and collect. Just remind everybody, please give us a subscribe on this video on the channel. Give us a like on the video. Let Eric know in the comments what you think of his collection. I'm sure he'd love to hear some feedback, as we all would. Again, visit our home base at 5idiotstalkingtoys.com. You can follow us there for everything related to the show. And you can also collect with us on our sales page, rogue5toys.com. And that's also on Facebook, so you could search us out there as well. Anything else, guys? Are we all set on this evening? This is going to be I think this is going to be part 2 that we're wrapping up right now. But I think we're all really happy to have had you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. And it was so nice to meet you at ICC Con last year, and hope to see you again next year.
Yeah,
just a few months away. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
Guess I need to buy a ticket, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Have a great night.
Yeah, thanks. And again, if you would like to have your collection featured, let us know at Rogue 5 or at 5idiotstalkingtoys.com. I think we have a post up there, don't we? We have an announcement that they can respond to with requests to have their collection featured on our humble YouTube podcast. And again, like and subscribe. And thanks so much for joining us again. And we will see you next time.
Night, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, Eric. Thanks a lot.